Hey friends, welcome to the show. I'm Brad Hussey, and today we're all in for a treat. We've got Luke Miler with us, the dynamo behind DCNY.co, a productized developer service, and he secured an impressive $25,000 in monthly recurring revenue within the first month of launching. Now, Luke's not just here to share his story, he's also got a treasure trove of tips for web developers and agency owners on making the switch to a more predictable and yes, profitable productized service model. Say that 10 times fast. Whether you're watching or listening, this is your golden ticket to leveling up in the web development world. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and let's dive in. Let's kind of start from the top here, and maybe you can give us like a genesis, backstory into you, kind of where you're coming from, and bring it into where you are today and what you're working on right now.
Sure. So I'm in the industry for, I think, well over a decade now. It started basically my career, and even before that, I was like part of a digital subculture called demo scene in the 90s. And what demo scene is basically you create this like digital art and music, graphics, everything in real time for the computers. It's like having its origins in like hacker scene. So people like hacking games, creating short presentations before the games, and then it evolved into like this demo scene. And this big subculture with parties all over the world. It is being active to this day. I think I've worked for like less than 3 years in local agency. After that, I started my first ventures and continued to do so, to this day. Because I'm like so long in the like industry, I've been doing, I think, everything from like initial like websites in Flash through mobile games, through like applications and products and everything, in between. So the DCNY is basically the continuity and bit of like revolution from the agency called the Dope Company that I've run for the last 10 years, and we are just like applying totally like new models and a new approach for how you work and doing services for a software engineer.
Nice. So then let us know a little bit about the unique business model of DCNY. If you could maybe discuss maybe the whole concept behind it, the whole subscription model. Tell us about how you came about with that.
Yeah, so we were working with the clients like a more like a legacy traditional agency for 10 years now. And also we built products for our clients, SaaS products, and we also created our own products in the process. And the SaaS model is like super awesome in terms of like how predictable it is and how you can measure this model and track all the data. So we were thinking, I think one of our clients was Design Pickle, and Russ and Design Pickle, they're like forefathers of this like applying this model to services. So we were like thinking more and more about how to like apply this to the services and how to make this work, where basically any service that you're doing is like a product, right? So you just like basically sign up to the product and then you have this end result real quick. So that was like the original idea, behind this, and trying to like make sure that we designed this whole operations that is like very efficient and applied to this model. So it's like very trackable. We have like all the metrics in place. So this is like the general idea, and we transitioned a couple of our clients for the last couple of months to try to use this, get some feedback, see how they transition from like retainer to like using this kind of like approach. And we officially launched 2.5 weeks ago, and and then since then like gathered some new clients also using us and work with us.
Okay, so you launched this, you said 2.5 weeks ago, and
8th of June or something.
Wow. Okay, now here's the crazy part. I read in your tweet, and this is what caused me to reach out to you. You've had like some crazy rapid growth. And in less than a week, it seems like you were able to bring on a few customers in this subscription-based model and get about $25,000 in monthly recurring revenue. Am I getting that correct? Feel free to fact check me on that.
Yeah, we are about to hit 25. We are at 20 right now. So the goal is basically it's gonna to hit 25 in the first month. So that's the idea. But basically, when we started, we have been able to close the first client in less than 24 hours from the launch, and then the next client a couple of days later, and then we got some new folks joining as well, and now we are on the 20K. So that's basically four new clients, four new businesses, like using this right away, like 2.5 weeks like from the launch.
Oh, so then how much do you charge?
You sign up, you pay upfront $5K a month for this like recurring payments. So the clients are paying like $5K every month. In the beginning, this is like all like automatically done by Stripe, and for that basically you get access like to software development services. You can throw any amount of like tasks that you want for us to do, and we do this like one at a time.
Now, what I wanted to ask though is, let's say after this call, we got a number of our folks going, you know what? I love this model. I'm going to try it. They come up with a great offer. They come up with a great system. They got the Trello board and everything in place. The landing page looks great. The pricing's good. Everything's perfect. How do you now get your first subscription client? Like where do you get these clients?
Yeah, that's what everyone is like asking about. And, I have to like tell you honestly that there's like no like silver bullets and magic hacks for that. So that's basically a numbers game. And everyone who is like telling you otherwise there's like some magical hack to do this is just lying. You basically one of the things that that I like regret, like that I haven't built a bigger audience like a decade ago. So just basically you have to like have obviously like several things done well, the website and the messaging and stuff like that. But without traction, this is like nothing. So we haven't done like any like real magic here. We are trying new things now, and basically make sure that my main job is on top of like hiring and overseeing like all those operations, basically make sure that the traffic is going up on the site, and this is like a key goal here. So, and there's like we might be doing something like in this. We have like over the decade we have like I think 1,000 points of different tactics that you can do. So, and we want to like also put this all together in a week or two, for everyone to like access, what we've learned. But basically, there's like no magic. So all the obvious things and non-obvious things. So guys, launch a product hunt, launch the beta list, go post it and everywhere you can. Use your mailing list, share this like with your friends, ask them to share, and be relentless in getting yourself known. So this is like, and obviously when you have like a bigger audience, you can use anything. When you can afford some like paid promotions, like newsletter stuff like that, do that. Basically 1,000 things. And this is like your number one priority when trying to get clients, because from the conversion rates are always a kill. So you will see 1,000 people visiting you. You will see from that, you will see like 30 people like kind of interested. Few of those will book a call, and one of those people will convert as a customer. So it's obviously it's not only numbers. You have to make sure that you are addressing your marketing for the like right potential people who like looking for your need. But basically, you just get out there. This is like there's like no magic pill here. No, we spend here like 14, 16 hours just figure out and doing marketing. So, and I've seen I think Hunter was like posting this like a few years ago. He said like I ask you to send like 100 emails a day, 100 emails. So you're starting from your own connections, your past clients, your people like from your inbox, and you can just going outwards from there up to the sending like figure out the emails of the people who are potential clients and sending cold emails, and then doing this over and over again for like several days, and also continue doing this when there's like no reply. Most people will not reply to you. You will get several no's, and you have to keep going and try to make sure that you're doing this. And this is like the hard truth. So there's like no way around this. The only way around this, like if you have like the huge budget for like paid acquisition, and you do this smart way, and this model is like obviously great. If you can do a subscription for a couple K, then your cost of acquisition can be kind of big, but you have to have the budget for acquisition, or you have a big audience already. If you have a big audience and you can see profiles of people like on Twitter or whatever, they are able to like basically sell anything because they have like huge distribution in place. So there's like no. You can do some smart things, and we can discuss now about some ideas what you can try to do. But basically, it's all down to this. Get as much traction, qualified traction to your site, and this is like lots of hard work. I think the majority of people who are like trying to do this will resign at this point. They will create great offering, and they might have like super services but if you are not relentless in trying to get people to visit you and potentially like order stuff from you, then nothing else is going to work. So this is like just a hardcore marketing operations. Basically at the beginning you're just doing lots of things that doesn't scale, and then once you have like initial revenue, just like reinvest and try to like scale and outsource, so you have more time to focus on the other things as well.
I like that a lot. I like the hardcore. There's no like silver bullet or magic pill or whatever the phrase is. There's no secret here other than the secret is there's no secret. And it's as hard as like, it's so straightforward, and it's as simple and as hard and as easy as that. It's like, you gotta be relentless. You gotta put yourself out there. If people don't know that you're in business, then you'll get no business. If you're not making noise, if you're not creating value. Now, this isn't to be confused with spam people, be annoying in people's cold DMs. I'm sure you get a lot of cold DMs with people offering you stuff. I get daily emails that are not even bothering to be personalized. They've done no work into looking into who I am or what I do, and I just ignore them.
This is another challenge, right? So you're trying, when you, for example, are doing cold emails, you have to. Yeah. I think it's perfect for the audience, because it's most of the things that you are trying to do is like try to be creative in this. So when you are cold emailing people, you don't want to import this huge base and just like send just automatic 1,000 emails right away, because you will have very, very low conversion, as you said. But also you cannot afford that you super personalize every email. So try to find ways and use some tools that will try to bridge those things. So you send 100 emails a day, but then you have some customization in there. So when they reach your inbox, you don't feel like you're just object that everyone is trying extract the value from you, and we're trying to build something together. So it's all about figure out this thing, how to make this as much efficient as possible, because it will be super hard work and lots of work to do this. But you are trying to make sure that what you are doing is also converting the best possibly you can. So yeah, lots of hard work and also figuring out in between. And it's lots of that is basically human psychology, for you to be relentless and try to do this, and also try, even if you are very tired and frustrated and down, try to figure out and reserve some mental energy to figure out, to audit what you're doing, because, there might be some things that you're doing incorrectly in the process. So yeah, it's all about this thick skin and just trying to get through this.
And maybe another lean way of doing that, someone might think, okay, well, I got to set up a website and an email newsletter and all these things. Sure. But what's great about the access we have to all the tools today, start on Twitter, start start on YouTube, start on Instagram, like pick your tool that is most likely going to be where your target market hangs out, and maybe it's Pinterest. I mean, honestly, like you think about who's my target market, where are they, and where do they spend time, leisure time or learning time, business time, where do they network, where do they talk, where do they hang out, and go there and just start tweeting about it. It could be a tweet a day, it could be a post a day, it could be whatever it is, and build that into your marketing plan. Don't think it's going to get you instant results. Think of it as a bit of a longer term strategy, and do that in tandem with this cold outreach, but genuine cold outreach. Because if you're offering a service that's, let's even say $2,000 a month to start, it's not a big ask for the right market for your offer. You only need a couple of those clients to really validate what you're doing. And then those clients ask them, hey, do you know anybody else who would benefit from this service? And they put you in touch. You get 5, you get 6, you raise the price. I mean, that's kind of how it works. You don't need 1,000 clients to make this work. You've got, 5 clients right now. So it's like, you don't need thousands of them.
The higher the price, obviously, the harder it will be for you to convert clients as well. So the challenge is there. And I think you can rise the prices over time, and we'll be doing this as well once you have more credibility in the market, so you can try this. But the benefit of doing these side projects is I think the compared to using just Twitter and stuff like that. And I think you can launch the product nowadays using some no-code tool or Webflow or whatever you want to set up real quick. The benefit there is that you can use free distribution of all those platforms you can launch on. So if you launch your service, that's one traffic, but then you have some simple, very quick side project that you can launch on Product Hunt and get a couple hundred people uniques visiting your page from this launch. This is potential good spot for some leads to be active and reaching out to you as well. So this is the benefit. You can use lots of this launching thing, free traffic, when you are when you find a way to creating those side products quickly.
Yeah, that's I want to clarify to anyone, hearing that and maybe going, well, I'm not a blogger or creator is the term we use now. I don't care about having fans and followers. That's not the point. And I don't think that's the message you're trying to send here. It's what you're doing is building a distribution channel. And if you have a distribution channel, the phrase is the money is in the list. It's because you have access and asset to people who like what you're saying, like what you share, like your insights, your expertise, your work, whatever it is that you're offering to them in exchange for their attention. You now have a list. You literally own access to their email because they've opted in and given you consent to send messages to them. And let's say you've got 1,000 people, emails, and they've said, I like what you're saying. I like your work. I like what you share. I like your insights. Your thoughts are interesting. I like your personality and the take that you put on that. And then you go, we're launching a new service and it looks like this. It's this much a month for the first 3 people. I'm giving it for half off as kind of a thank you for following my work over the past X amount of time. And now that's an asset. That's people who've opted into to you, and you could offer things to them. And that's very much the case. And so what would you say though, maybe to yourself, who are these people? They're not just fans who are oh, I really like, your software style or your design style. It's what are you offering and who are these audience members that you're talking about?
So I think that the best way to think about it is that you would be surprised how things that are obvious to you are not known or obvious to anyone else or other people. So I think just sharing things that you've learned and you think that are obvious to you can be super valuable for everyone around you. So I think just this, the key here is to be useful, and and so the people are people who will find out that what we sharing and what I'm sharing is like useful to them.
What's your goal? What are you hoping to achieve here? If you fast forward a year from now, what's your goal with DCNY?
I'm not really a big fan of like long-term goals like that. I like to like this, like there's like, I recommend for everyone to go watch this on YouTube. There's like commencement speech by Tim Minchin. He was like this like actor / like musician. He's great, and he said that his favorite way, and I share his opinion on this, is like to be micro ambitious. So you're focusing on like short-term goals with like ultimate passion, and the benefit of this approach is also that if you are like looking too far in the future, you might miss the important things that are laying around you, across that like this smaller goals. So obviously we have some like vision. I think if this is working, we can scale this up to be like sizable company. So I think we can have like company like a couple hundred people doing this. So once we have like this process in place, then we can scale this up. So that would be something. But we are not really like focusing on those. We just like we want to make sure that we have some like very nice growth currently, that we provide as much value as possible for the customers to validate this model, and ask us in like a couple months if this is like working well. And I think we'll find many like obstacles and things that we have to be careful about in this model. So I think scaling up later in the future, but short term just like validation of this model, and also making sure that we grow and get more clients and optimize for value, and also how efficient we can be with this.
Would you recommend this model to, freelance web developers and even kind of small web development studios to adopt the productized subscription model for their services?
Yeah, for sure. I think the SaaS model is like subscription is like very beautiful model. So if you also if you apply this model in whatever you're doing, and also educate yourself a little bit of like on SaaS metrics. So you have like this R metrics, like acquisition, activation, revenue, and optimization for that. This is like beautiful model, because after time you have like all this data that you can track. You can predict what churn you have, what's the lifetime value for your customer is. So it's beautiful because it's like super like data driven, and you can like predict lots of stuff from that. That's why you see all the unicorn companies being valued like $1 billion and something. They are being like SaaS companies because this model is like really great.
So then, real quick here, what would be like if somebody listening today was like, I'm sold, I want to offer a productized subscription kind of SaaS based model for my services, what do they need to do? Like, what can they do today to like make that happen, to get it set up?
Yeah, if you have a site, then basically you just like update your offering and go to stripe.com, set up your account, set up the pricing page, that's called, I think. And basically just you can like configure this pricing page. We use this on our site as well, and you can set the price and stuff like that, and Stripe. And then if someone comes to your site and subscribe, that everything else is being taken care of by Stripe. So that's, I think, the only two things that you have to do. Just like update your offering and then set up Stripe, and off you go.
I love it. Love how simple that is. Okay, Luke, I really appreciate you coming here and sharing all your insights into this model and your business. Where can people follow your work and your insights, and where can they learn more about DCNY?
Yeah, so for DCNY, just go to dcny.co, and you can find me on Twitter at Luke Miler. It's like Miller with one L, Miler.
Thanks for tuning in, friends. This has been a Creative Crew gem. Take those insights, go and build your own success story. Now, if you're a creative studio owner or a design agency founder looking to take your business to new heights, well, I'm inviting you to join us in our free community, the Creative Crew. We've got resources, weekly meetups, and we bring in guest experts and industry leaders every single week to help you take your business to new heights. Join us. The link is down below in the description or the show notes. We're waiting for you with open arms. Can't wait to see you there. And until next time, I'll see you in another one.